Hey guys, I'm Demented Jumper. Today we'll be doing top 5 games that are hard to complete. Now for this list I'm going over some of the games that are fun and interesting but can be difficult to complete if you are going for 100% completion. And these games are fun and interesting, and I highly suggest you go and play some of these games in the list that I'm going to be talking about today. So for number 5 is the Pokemon series. Now, if you look at early generations, like Generation 1, that game had like 151 Pokemon. But as the series has gone on and the more Pokemon that have been introduced in the game, or in each game, or in the game in the series, there have been a lot more Pokemon, to the point where there's about almost 1,000 Pokemon in the game. And it can be difficult to try and not only capture them, but evolve them. And there are just like a lot of Pokemon that you need to get and then evolve them. A lot of them are easy, like the bug Pokemon, the starters, the bird Pokemon that you can get in every single early route. But there are other ones that are more difficult to evolve, like with the Hydreigon line, because with that line they evolve at stupid levels. I think the first one is at I think level 40, I think level 35 maybe. Then the next one is at level 50, 55, and it can be stupid to try and evolve the Hydreigon line to get a Hydreigon. And I'm not saying Hydreigon is a bad Pokemon. I think it's a nice design, but it's just quite stupid of how you try and get one. For number 4 is Super Mario Odyssey. Now, what I like about Super Mario Odyssey is all of the different things you can do in the game, like how you can experiment with Cappy and seeing how far you can get in a single jump from one ledge to another ledge. The different costumes you can do, a lot of the kingdoms. But when it comes to the moons, it can be difficult to get all of them, because in the game you can get a certain requirement if you're going through the main story, but you can collect some more if you want to. But once you come back to each kingdom after you've beaten Bowser, you will have to go and collect all of the other ones if you are going for 100% completion, and that can vary depending on which kingdom you are in, because there are some kingdoms that might start off with like 25 or 30, but then once you've beaten Bowser, you have to go and hit this cube box thing, which will give you an additional bunch of moons, and they can raise the total up by 20 or 30 depending on which kingdom you're in. And that will mean you have to go through all the kingdoms, get every single regular moon and every single box moon, so you can just try and collect every single moon. And then you have to collect if you want to get like 999 moons, you have to try and buy moons in the shop, and that will require you just buying a lot of moons and just getting more coins from the various kingdoms. But if you do want a helpful strategy of getting additional coins, or just doing the same thing over again, is in Bowser's Kingdom. And there's like a bit in that kingdom where you can use a nut to grow a plant to get to a cloud section where two moons are, and there are a bunch of coins in there. So if you want to get a bunch of coins and you can buy a bunch of moons, I highly suggest that area in Bowser's Kingdom. For number 3 is the Illusion of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Now, with the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, this can be really difficult if you're going for 100% completion, because you've got both the normal mode and the master mode. Normal mode, it can be difficult, but it can get the hang of if you just play through the game at your own pace, and you just do all the things that you can do, like shield surfing, combat, that sort of thing. And the reason why this is really difficult to complete is because not only do you have to beat the main story, but you have to do every single main quest, shrine quest, side quest, find every single town and stable, collect every single Korok seed, get every single one of armor and upgrading those armors. You have to find all the shrines. You have to unlock the entire map, and you have to basically just do all of this and just try and do everything, even to try and get 100%. And also there's also the DLC stuff. So that's Trial of the Sword, Master Mode, which is part of the DLC, the Champion's Ballad, and try and find all of the additional DLC armors. And that can be really difficult because if you're trying to find the extra armors, you're told quite vaguely of where those locations are. So like, I think one of them is like for let's say the Phantom Ganon armor. It tells you, there's one underneath a statue, there's one underneath a bridge, and I think there's one that's underneath the highest waterfall or something like that in the Farron region. And it can be difficult to try and figure out which ones, but but if you use the clues to your advantage, you'll be able to find all of the armors. And with some of them, with some of the non-DLC armors, you will have to try and upgrade them and try and find certain items for you to use to upgrade them. One of the rarest ones you have to use to upgrade some of the armors are the star fragments, in which you have to just find or hear like this sort of shimmer, and you'll see like this bright light coming down from the sky and doing this beam thing, in which that will be a star fragment, and they're only around for like a few hours in game time, but only a few minutes in real life time. So I highly suggest just trying to get as much star fragments as you can when you're walking out in the wild, or go to the dueling peaks at the very top of where one of the shrines are, and then just create a campsite and then wait until nighttime to try and find one. For number 2 is Persona 5 and Persona 5 Royal. Now with these games, they're quite difficult because you've got a bunch of stuff to do. So like, you have to get several, or basically all the personas that the main protagonist can use. You have to fully do every single confidant that's in the game, get every single request in the game, and then a lot of things as well. And also both Persona 5 and Royal have a lot of similar trophies. So for example, a lot of the trophies are basically beating the game, or beating all the palaces in the game. One of them is beating the Reaper, which is basically this optional boss that you can do that you can find in Mementos. And then there are a variety of other ones that only Persona 5 has, and there are ones that only Persona 5 Royal has. But with Persona 5 Royal, there's this thing called the Thieves' Den, in which you can go in there and look at different statues of bosses, locations that can go with your confidants, your own team's personas, and then there's also like music, and you can watch cutscenes, and you can also see concept art and stuff like that. But then there's also the awards that you can do. So a lot of the awards are basically buy this amount or use this amount of yen at the clinic, which is where one of your confidants are. Then there's one where you have to basically get full ranks on all your confidants, that sort of thing. And it can be really difficult to see which ones you might have done, and it only gets better once you've got like a few left to do, in terms of awards that you can get. And after you've beaten each award, will be given a certain amount of coins that you can use in the Thieves' Den to unlock the statues, the concept art, the music, the cutscenes, that sort of thing. And yeah, it can be really difficult to try and do all of them. And for number 1 is Crash Bandicoot: The Insane Trilogy. Now, what makes this game quite hard to complete is that you will have to try and get all the gems, all of the crystals, and just try and hit every single box in order to get all the gems. And if you're playing, let's say, Crash 1, if you want to get like all the color gems, you will have to beat the levels in which they are in without dying and breaking every single box. And that can be difficult because depending on the level that you're on, you will have to try and like memorize the level that you're in, and also memorize where the jumps are and how long it is until the next one you do, and then just try and beat the level until you get the gem. With Crash 2, it's not as difficult to get the color gems as it was in Crash 1, but if you want to get all of the boxes in some of the levels, there will be times in which you have to go to a new level to go to an old level, and it will be difficult to try and find out which one it is. And and a lot of the levels you will have to use muscle memory to try and figure out how the level works, and also using your own memory to try and figure out the level and see where the next jumps and stuff are going to be. So yeah. So that's been my top 5 games that are hard to complete. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.